A base hit into the gap. They can win it with junior speed to stretch. And the 0-1 pitch on the way to Edgar Martinez. Swung on the line down the left field line for a base hit. Here comes Joy. Here is Junior to third base. They're going to wave him in. The throw to the plate will be late. The Mariners are going to play for the American League Championship. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my. Edgar Martinez with a double. Whip down the left field line, and they are going crazy at the Kingdome.
Talking about the Jesus Commandos, and I call them Commandos because they're like diehards for what they believe in, and they walk around with these huge signs, and then with these gigantic like megaphones. There was this one instance where like the guy with the megaphone, I'm already playing right in front of left field gate. He's like right next to me, standing next to me with his megaphone, and we're like in competition. It's not really a competition, but it's just like super like what are you doing? You know what I mean? So. The Mariners, they got these QR codes right here on these blue barriers where the fans in line waiting can scan the QR code, and it brings up information about the initiatives they're trying to put forth with eliminating amplified noise is the technical term that's on their wording. I play acoustic drums, but my backing tracks are through amplified speakers. So there's a thin line right there, and I just want the fans to know if you are agreeing to this or going through the process of eliminating these guys, like it could trickle over to me. My relationship with the Mariners so far is really cool. So like city has to enforce these laws. So the city would actually be coming out here with sound meters or just telling, the new musicians on the block and myself to like, you got to pack up and leave. And I think we're a good part of what's going on here at T-Mobile Park. A lot of families, couples, older fans walk up to me and let me know like I've become like almost in a tradition to like their ballpark experience. They're excited about when the game ends to come out and dance and have a good time. So to take that away just because a couple of guys with megaphones is a loss. Also for the T-Mobile Park experience. T-Mobile Park brags about having the #1 fan experience in the Major League, and I believe that because I'm a part of that. But let's look out for guys like me, you know what I'm saying, that actually make coming to T-Mobile Park a special thing.
If you watch the game, you might have caught this. Gino is rounding the bases, does all his stuff that he does. It was a massive hit, rounding third, coming home. And who is on deck? Jorge Polanco. You're expecting to get some dap. You got some from Cal. And coming out of the dugout, you see Josh Naylor. Did he get Eugenio any dap? Absolutely not. He was up early just before him. He goes to the on-deck batter, Jorge Polanco, and talks to him about what he's seeing from that pitcher. It got me so jacked up, even though it was a big-time home run from Eugenio. Just to see that I don't care that you just hit that home run. To see that you went to the on-deck batter to talk strategy about what you're seeing. You're a fellow left-handed hitter,
yeah.
Blanco, which just totally involved what Naylor was saying. It's something I noticed, and it absolutely got me pumped.
I just try to play baseball. I just like to wake up, come to the field, work hard, win a game, go home, repeat.
What up? This is Myron, and you are listening or checking out the Rye Bread Mustard and Mariners podcast that down on the docks on the other side of the tracks 5-star dive bar about your American League West champion Seattle Mariners, who were just victorious but an hour ago while we're recording this. We are live on YouTube, but if you're getting this on the podcast side, you're getting this later. We are recording this about an hour after the Mariners close out Game 3. We are recording this here at MVP's Bar and Grill on Highway 99 in the lovely city of Edmonds. And if I'm in Edmonds, I always got to have the Mayor McCheese of Edmonds, Hanno up in Edmonds. What's going on, Hanno?
Hey, man, what a great, lovely, late game compared to what we thought it was going to be. Got to see the whole thing. What a treat for us Seattle Mariner fans.
Especially for those 9-to-5ers or the early workers This was a horse shit start time, and you made that very clear. Enough that we were talking about it when we go back and look at the last episode, and you're on Spotify. We have they make the AI chapters. They'll just pick things out, and they pinpointed the shitty scheduling time. So even the AI agrees that this time was horse shit.
Yeah, and the Mariners go for the clincher tomorrow at lunchtime. That's okay. I feel good about them like I did today. Really happy with how the Mariners came through and executed their game plan.
Yeah, and a whole 3 hours later. So, I mean, it worked out for you perfectly.
Yep.
4 o'clock start. It was, at one point, it was a 4:30 Pacific Standard Time start. Got it going at 4. And I believe CJ told me this when he was here. He said that the Seattle Mariners were 0-4 or 0-5 in rain delay games. So this was the first time the Mariners won a rain delay game all of 2025.
Yeah, that's definitely been a narrative. A lot of things people have talked about. It was not an issue tonight. They came out. Well, Logan Gilbert came out and set the tone early, and from there the hitters took it and Logan continued it, and just a fabulous game all in all.
Yeah, I mean, what you needed to dial up from Logan Gilbert, you got it. The swing and the miss. I mean, at one point, we'll pull up this line right here. At one point, you're like, what's that, about a dozen? It wasn't quite a dozen, but it felt like that, didn't it?
Yeah, he threw some nasty pitches. Yeah, he wasn't striking the guys out at the like I thought he was, but he was getting so much swing and miss from those guys. They had no chance, and he absolutely dominated them. Something that I felt really good about going into this game. And, I mean, he jumped on that mound and absolutely dominated them. It was, I mean, the perfect third game starter that you could ever ask for, honestly.
Yeah, if you look at anybody else, number 3, I mean, maybe you look at the Dodgers just for how deep they are, but who else has a number 3 sitting in their pocket? And this is your number 3 sitting in your pocket when you've lost maybe your best, I would say your best starter in Brian Wu.
Yeah, which is a loss. Hopefully it won't be a huge loss, and he'll be able to go in the next round once we clinch it, knock on wood, hopefully tomorrow. But yeah, just absolutely fantastic by him. The way he had that splitter working, that slider, he threw some gas by some guys. I mean, he had the whole repertoire working, and it was just a thing of beauty. They were so off balance all night. You know, the Detroit Tigers didn't have many hits like they have. Well, they actually haven't had many hits this whole series, and that storyline just continued.
Yeah, it was 7 strikeouts he had tonight, but it felt like 12 because there was a lot of swing and miss in at bats that even he ended up getting people out with and just setting them up and them not making any hard contact.
Yeah, absolutely. The contact was non-existent, or like you mentioned, really soft contact. He kept their big boys off balance. Carpenter looked foolish at times, as well as the rest of the lineup. He was in complete control the whole game, in my opinion. What did you think?
Yes, I think when he was not coming out in the 7th inning, I was not like overly surprised, but I was like, oh, okay, this is a choice. Mariners kept on adding on, so that decision looked like a wise decision. You never know. Maybe you might need him in a couple of days, but I know that's not the rationale. The rationale is to win this game. I could have saw him coming out the way he was pitching in the seventh, maybe gave him 10 pitches, 12 pitches. Maybe somebody gets on base, maybe walk somebody, you take him out. But no, they moved on pretty quickly there, brought in Brash. Brash was fine, gives you a solid inning. And then after that, we see Bizzardo, who is absolutely, this might be the best I've seen Bizzardo. We say this every time. Every single time. And then, you have the blemish there with Caleb Ferguson in the ninth. And what sucks about that, you go into the ninth 8-1. We're going to roll on here to talk about the pitching. Let's just talk about it now. Caleb Ferguson, I do not have very much trust in that guy. I thought maybe he was making a turn, but I was even saying when they were going to bring somebody in at 8-1, I even thought Ferguson might have been a little bit too important for that prior to that. I thought maybe you'd go with Jackson and maybe save Ferguson in case you did need a left-on-left matchup, because you might have to go to the bullpen early tomorrow with Bryce Miller pitching. And I was like, okay, they went in with Ferguson and just, what did you see there?
Yeah, he's supposed to be your victory cigar in that scenario, in that game. And honestly, you just couldn't light it up. It just wouldn't light. And it was obvious. Gave up, the double to Torkelson, got them going again. But, Munoz came in, your closer, a guy that I talked about with you earlier, that I feel like the more he pitches, the better he is. So in that scenario, that was a good decision. I thought he looked good. And closed the game out and stopped the bleeding right there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm okay with him going and getting Munoz. Not okay with him. We were calling for it. Let me restart.
Yeah, we needed that 25th, 26th, and 27th out. It was ridiculous.
I'm not overly upset about it because they didn't play yesterday. If this was a back-to-back 3-game series and you don't have that break in case shit happens tomorrow, then I'd be concerned about it. But yes, just not having to bring him in or any more of your A or B setup high leverage people because you're up that many runs, and then having to do it does suck. I don't think it's really going to affect Munoz. We've actually seen him come back after that second day lately, and sometimes even be sharper.
Yeah, and you and I have had the conversation where I've told you that, when a team sees a reliever again and again throughout the series, they start, noticing some things, realizing what his game plan is. With Munoz, he's just been on point, and I feel good about him. That has been erased out of my mind here lately. The way he's gone out about and done his business, he's just been so good and so solid. Everything's working for him. He's pinpointing his fastball. That slider's got that hard, nasty bite to it. He's just being that type of closer in this situation that we expect him to be. Getting strike one over. Just been a great guy to close the door at the end, and what you want your closer to do for you.
Absolutely. You're right about if you see guys over and over, maybe you're going to figure something out. And
time them up, that kind of stuff.
And somebody that's really important in this series we didn't have to see tonight, and that was Gabe Spire. And I think maybe more than Munoz in that situation, because you see so much in Munoz. He was an all-star. People know what's going on. Spire's one of these guys that, to the rest of the baseball world, they're getting to know him right now. He's becoming a household name when it comes to the back middle half lefty specialist, especially in the series. He gets the rest. So tomorrow in a hopefully game 4 clinching situation, you're going to be able to let him go 1.5, maybe 1/3 innings, whatever, 2 innings if need be.
Yeah, and we saw in this series AJ make a change to his lineup, bring Carpenter up in the lineup, splitting the lefties apart from each other to kind of nullify the Spire situation of going against 2 lefties in a row. But it was never an issue throughout this game. The Manor offense was good, and they just had the starting pitching, like we mentioned, and just kept those guys off balance, and it was a non-issue. So Dan Wilson, nixed what AJ tried to do and change up the way his lineup was constructed tonight. So good on Dan Wilson. It was never an issue, and we'll see if they continue with throwing Carpenter up in that one hole and splitting up the lefties. I would imagine that'll probably be the same case tomorrow, wouldn't you say?
I think so. I think that would be the game plan. I think now at this point in the series, we know what AJ Hinch is going to try to do, and I think we know what Dan Wilson's going to do. If you're watching the manager battle, I think you've seen Dan Wilson adapt, and from what maybe you wanted to say after game one compared to right now.
Yeah, I agree. Has not, I understand, since we're talking about the bullpen, we understand. I'm talking for you here now, but we understand, I believe, why they brought in Caleb Ferguson. It was the right move, like we said, the victory cigar. Yeah, get him some innings, just get the 3 outs, not use any of your guys. So it made sense, but he just flat out was not good tonight.
Parmesan LeBron says, I never want to see Ferguson pitching here for the Mariners ever again. I'd rather see Hancock or Evans or Miller out of the bullpen. I don't care how big of a lead we have. Yeah, it'd be interesting what they do if they can get through this next round on what sort of personnel once you throw Wu back into the equation. But I think because of the lefty situation, you're going to have Ferguson there as a backup plan. And this is a guy that has played a lot of postseason baseball. Most of his career was with the Dodgers. Last year he was with the Yankees. We did see him make a little bit of a turn here at the end of the season. But sure, when they got him, I keep pointing this out, he came over in that particular month, and his splits, he had 11 ERA. So he's had a rough 2025, or at least let's say inconsistent. You go and look at his ERA, and it's in the 3s. It's not extremely high, but definitely not what you want in a reliever. But, yes, it's a bit concerning, I think, today.
Yeah, I mean, I got to agree kind of with Parmesan LeBron. I guess I would just characterize this saying he's just a guy you don't have confidence in. And if we don't, Dan Wilson doesn't either, especially in a tight game, high leverage situation where you need an out, because he did not give that to you tonight. But, instead of being so negative, that was a blemish in the game, but it happens. You just can't trust him. So they're probably not going to go to him in a situation, like I mentioned, where you need some outs. He will be the guy that comes in when you have a big lead.
I mean, you had the cushion to make that mistake tonight.
Correct. Yeah, I agree.
At least this wasn't Dan Wilson putting him in when it was a 5-run difference. Which once you hit 5 runs, you're kind of like, we can hold on to the closer here. Imagine that's 5 runs and that happens. Then it's a whole different situation. Then you're putting the tying runner at the plate when you're, that would be the game-winning runner coming up the plate. Something much closer. Sorry, Seattle Public School, Ballard High School businessman right there in my head. Well, we talked about the pitching. We also got, from what we know, because look, we're doing the show live right after the game. We didn't get the post game. They switched over to the Yankees. Got opening night in hockey here at MVP's. I think they got a dart league coming in, so we didn't get to really jump into the press conference. But from what we've gathered, and we already knew this, we got Bryce Miller starting game 4. How do you feel about that?
It's a logical decision. I feel it's going to be the type of thing where you're hoping Bryce is on his game. You're hoping that he's hitting the high rail with his fastball. He's not I don't think he's going to go long into this game. Hopefully get through the batting order at least twice. And, if you get that from him, then that's a success, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think, too, I know you're going after tomorrow's game.
Yeah, you do not want to come back and play game 5 against Schools.
No, we don't want Schools. 3 times in a year? Come on. Knock it off. No, we don't want that situation here. You don't want that situation just because that's scary. And number 2, after that, have to play on Sunday. So you really couldn't set yourself up that well. Right now, as we're recording this, the Yankees look like they're holding on and they're going to win this game. So it's like we're going to have another early start, like you mentioned. But let's just go with Bryce Miller in this situation. Let's just say the Mariners end up losing this game, right? You still have Kirby, and you could probably bring Castillo in if you needed to on Friday, and then you could start Logan Gilbert on Sunday if you could get through that. So I think Bryce Miller can throw enough strikes and not let guys. If he can throw enough strikes and not let guys on, and just get what you got out of Castillo, like 4 innings, 4 to 5 really good innings. Then you just throw the entire bullpen at the Tigers. And really what it's going to come down to is the offense. This is the first time we've seen the offense break out in the series. But with Bryce Miller, I think you need this kind of offense you saw today to match that to comfortably win that game. I think that's what you're going to need tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. You just need him to manage the game in a way like Luis Castillo did. It probably won't be that well, but you mentioned the offense. That's the thing that got kickstarted. I felt tonight. Much more comfortable at bats, quality at bats. I thought the guys were seeing the ball a lot better. Sure, Cal came through. Julio wasn't as dominant as he has been, but still had some very decent at bats. Polo wasn't a hero tonight, but you had Eugenio really well. Hit really well, hit that big bomb to really get you going, was great defensively. And then there's Naylor, put some good wood on some balls. Really happy to see that. And down through the lineup, and how could I not miss JP? Wow. To come back after that. It wasn't an error, because can't assume the double play, but it was a poor throw over to first base that Naylor couldn't handle. To come back that next half inning and get that run back that got given up when the double play wasn't made. So, I mean, just a lot of nice things. The Mariners had some time off, obviously, and had the first round bye. And they looked a little sluggish. Only their big guys were hitting, really. Only 3 of them to be exact, Cal, Julio, and Polanco. But looks like the rest of the team is coming around, along with Randy Arozarena, who I thought had a nice game and some good at-bats.
Yeah, you said it right there. The rest of the team looks like they're coming around. Sure. You look at Polanco and you look at Julio, your big-time Game 3 heroes, and they want to combine 0 for 9 with a walk in this game and 4 strikeouts. Okay, those are the guys you've really been depending on. Well, that's what happened, and that's okay because Randy Arozarena, 2 hits, RBI, run score. Kyle Raleigh, we know the big home run, but earlier in the game had that single, 2 RBIs in this game. Sorry, 3 RBIs in this game. And then you look at Suarez with his home run. You look at JP with his home run. And then let's not forget Robles getting on, which was Randy Arozarena's RBI came from that. So contributions tonight, you didn't have anything from Canzone. He scored, but most of the bottom of the order seemed to have a really good game here. And that was something that we were talking about. We were going, sure, all of the lineup needs to help out, but just getting that bottom of the lineup up there for the top of the lineup, and look at the numbers that you got right here. From the 1 and 2 spot in this lineup, you got 4 RBIs.
Yeah, that's huge. And I mean, the way the game started, you mentioned the bottom of the order, Robles getting on, heads up play, went home on that throwing error by Green from left field, got everything going, and it was just nice. You mentioned it to me throughout the whole game. We just got to get these guys on base for our big dogs, and they kept doing that, and just kept chipping away little by little, and before you know it, they had an 8th spot up there, feeling real comfortable at 8-1.
Yeah, and I do want to say this, the only person you're really waiting for, if you're looking at the box really to get going here now, and Gino had his 1 home run swing. We'd like to see a bit more out of him as well. But 1 for 3, also had a walk, which was a nice thing to see. Josh Naylor, still hitless in this series.
Yep.
But again, tonight had one that we thought maybe we were going to see the Rock the Baby.
Yeah.
Just kind of reminiscent of the game from game one. Kind of was like that. But prior to that, earlier in the game, had that monster at bat. I'm sure Dan will.
Yeah, 11 pitch,
11
big
pitch
gritty at bat.
Big gritty at bat. Very next batter, Eugenio Suarez ends up walking, probably because he could see those pitches that he was throwing. Naylor was hitting a lot of balls too, and right just in between those two at bats right there, how many pitches, how much did he labor right there? And then he ended up coming out there the next inning and starting to unravel a bit, and just being able to see all those pitches, make this guy work. Not to mention having guys on base, never could really get comfortable tonight for Flaherty.
Absolutely. The stat sheet didn't show what he did, but he sure helped out the team by that at bat and what you saw from him throughout the game. I mean, especially defensively, there's so many throws that he saves, he keeps in front of them. But, you're right. He hasn't got a hit this series, but he's done some really nice things at the plate to help this team be successful.
Vlad Perez says these Little Town Blues are melting away. We also have Pete Cosma, Tigers legend. As a Tigers fan, congrats on the win. If you win this series tomorrow, I'm rooting for you guys to win it all.
Thank you. You got a good team yourself.
What a polite person. Let's start. It has been a long day. I mean, I got here at noon.
Yeah, ready for the freaking 1 o'clock start, setting up, getting the place ready to go.
Yeah.
Welcoming all the Mariner fans in.
2 baskets of wings. Their MVP burger, which I recommend, which is an homage.
So you ate all 3 meals here, huh?
All 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner here at MVP's on Aurora. And I'm not complaining about it. Some other notes I wanted to say about this game. Also, let's talk about this Gino's defensive play.
Which was huge in that moment.
Huge. Caps. Heavy, fat font. Huge play. Break it down.
Yeah, squares around the bunt. Gets it down the line, in between the pitcher and the line. He has to make the play. He charges. He kind of, he barehands it, but he barehands it behind him. Still, 1 step, throws off balance, off the wrong foot, makes the play to get the runner by 1 step and shut down that inning.
Yeah, because that could have easily went the other way. Also, not having a good throw right there. That's a dangerous throw. That's a throw you see a lot of third basemen go up the line with.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you got Robles trying to chase it down. You got the runner going from first all the way to third, run scores. All kinds of things happen. The crowd is into it, but shut down the momentum right away. Great defensive play by Eugenio Suarez. And that was really, the first threat of the game by them. They had the runner on and they tried to bunt and try to get something going. And he said, no, not tonight.
Nope. And the crowd could never get into the game. The most this crowd ever got into the game was in the 9th inning. All 500 of the fans left in there for the Detroit Tigers. We're getting loud. But yeah, that's a point in the game where you're on the road. Maybe that ball goes sailing up the line. The ball goes around. Somebody scores. It would be the, polar opposite of just the mirror of what happened with the Tigers earlier in the game.
Yes.
I mean, when that ball got behind the catcher, that was it. They never recovered from that. Victor Robles, man, that play was very close, but we were both like, oh, why did he hesitate? He didn't. He was going back to the base because the ball was coming in, not trying to get picked off of third base or caught hanging on third base, just being defensively actually pretty prudent for him. The ball gets behind him and just that speed. And that was an awesome slide. We also see a lot of the times that the cleats go up off the plate. This time, enough of the cleats stayed right there on that front corner of the bag.
Absolutely. You know, when you slide in the base, it's raised up. It's easy to slide into the plate's flat. Everybody knows that. Kept the foot down, got it in there just in time before the tag was thrown down, and got things going for the Mariners.
And it was great to see AJ Hinch have a challenge using videotape, and he loses. Just felt good from that point on. It was all downhill for the Tigers. You know, they knocked the starter out. I'd love to see them knock the starter out tomorrow. And you're right, today, if you're listening to this, no Scooble. That's got to be just no Game 5. Give everybody 3 weekends. You know, somebody like Josh Naylor probably would appreciate 3 days off. Back with the team. That was huge, probably a huge emotional lift. And even though, again, on the box score, you don't see a lot, think about that at bat and the defense that he brings over at first base. And is just fitting very apropos after everything he's been going through. Line drive, jumps up, snags it, doubles up first base to end the game. Game ball. Got to go to the newborn.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, things were tense there going down the stretch. Munoz looked good, but to then, you know, it was I don't know if I call it a rocket, but it was a solid hit right at him. And to then, you know, go over to first and double off the game and say game over, dance in the center and be ready for tomorrow. It was just perfect. You know, I feel good about tomorrow, like I did today. I don't feel quite as confident with Miller going versus Logan. Obviously, they're different style pitchers, but the Mariners got to do basically have the same kind of game plan going against Mize. Someone, you know, that gives up some hits and some runs, and the Mariners have had success with in the past, and just chip away and get that good starting pitching. You might not be able to hold them back as far as they have been, especially with the way Logan pitched, but get that lead, get that crowd out of it, and then continue to add on. That's the recipe to end this series.
I don't know much about Casey Mize. He's pitched 3 innings here in the playoffs and has a 0 ERA. If we're going on his whole 2020-25, 14-6, 3.87, 139 strikeouts, 28 games that he started. And in his splits look a little something like this. His last 7 games, 4.58. His last 15 games, 4.79. So this is somebody that's given it up. And the Mariners need to just jump on it, continue through. And you know what? This team, this particular group, once they do get it going, you see them get it going for a couple of days. It's not like the old traditional Mariners in this era where they would have a 10-run outburst and then go back to, you know, almost giving up a no-hitter to somebody that they, you know, plucked out of the crowd to pitch.
Yeah. I mean, we did. It just popped into my head again. We got to talk about that gentleman that got Cal Raleigh's home run ball, don't we?
Yeah, we did.
You know, that one hop, just a candy Sunday hop, and he picks it up. He's got the shirts ready to go with big dumper. He's got 61 on one. He's got 62 on another. He's just ready for it.
Dump it here.
Yeah, there's just orange everywhere out there in left center field. And you see one guy in his teal shirt. And what do you know? He gets the ball. Just a crazy, crazy game for that guy. Unbelievable.
Just a nice Sunday candy hop right up to him. Grabs the ball. You see the shirt. You're like, holy shit. Then when he takes the shirt off and he has another shirt that has an additional number, the 62.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? That's just excellent heightening. I did not see that. That was an absolutely shocking. This guy probably planned this as like, I'm going to get the ball. I probably told people that this was going to happen. They're like, I hope it happens, but you're crazy. But if it does, that's going to be sick. And it happened.
Hey, hopefully that's the type of season this team's going to have in the postseason. You know, it's just one part of a story along this big storyline of the progress through the playoffs for the Mariners. I mean, just unbelievable. And I think you mentioned to me, didn't you see that he was able to meet Cal Raleigh later on after the game?
Yeah, they went and they grabbed him and he met Cal Raleigh. And he had his shirts with him too. But just that shirt, would he just took it off. I was like, I had the other one going. I was like, this is fucking genius. He's a man from Longview, Washington.
Nice.
One other little note that I have, and we'll get out of here really quick because hopefully you're not listening to this after the game before. My favorite thing with Logan was probably in the fourth with the strikeout of Green.
Yeah.
The fly out, and then whoever he had there, I think it was Torkelson, another strikeout. So when strikeout, one pitch, fly out, strikeout. I thought, right, and that's when the Mariners were piling on runs. It was an absolute huge inning right there.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That is a huge part of the game, a huge part of the Mariners too. And what Logan did, every time the Mariners jumped out and got a run or two and then kept adding on, he always shut the door the next inning, didn't give anything up as far as runs, but then also, was able to be efficient, keep his pitch count down, and go after those guys and not give them any life in this game.
Yeah, and I'm excited if the Mariners can get through to the ALCS to watch Logan Gilbert pitch in the ALCS.
You got to say that about these starters. I mean, we talked about them down the stretch. We've seen what they've done down the stretch, how they've improved, but in the playoffs here, they've been absolutely fantastic and raised their games up.
Yeah, you have the one mistake that Kirby gave up for the 2-run home run. Luis Castillo didn't give up shit.
I know.
And then Logan Gilbert gave up one run on a after you get a double play ball that should have been an ending double play. So they've given up 3 runs. So their ERA is at 1 for your starters in this series, right?
It's just so nice to watch him pump in fastballs, but then also against lefties, throw that splitter, and they have no chance. And just flailing swing after swing and miss. I mean, just an unbelievable pitch by him. They had no chance against that pitch.
They had no chance. It was when you keep seeing a pitch work multiple times over, when you see a pitch like that have multiple, excuse me, it's a long day. When you see a pitch like that happen multiple times a row, it's working. You go away from it, if it's not. So it was amazing just to watch that over and over. Like all the strikeouts, a lot of them looked the same.
Yeah.
Like you knew what was coming. When he was throwing that slider, and it didn't fucking matter. And the only other note I had, let's get out of here. I will hand it to the Detroit Tigers, and this is kind of I'll hand it to the Tigers, but this is also to put over the Mariners bats. They have played the Mariners position-wise where people have been in the outfield so well in this series.
I agree. The Mariners have hit some hot shots right at people. They've been positioned well, especially in the outfield. I noticed it more this game. But, yeah, definitely throughout the series. Even the infielders were positioned well. But, like I said, Naylor hit a rocket, right at the right fielder. And then there was a few other instances where there were some line drives that right at Detroit players.
Yeah, and I want to say too, those balls are going to drop, and they're going to get in. And you know when they're going to drop and they're going to get in? If you have runners on and you have the outfielders and the infielders maybe playing different spots, run prevention spots, and something's going to get in there. A lot of these catches have been like no outs, nobody on, everybody's playing straight away, everybody's playing right in their spot. But I'm hoping, like, the Mariners had a hard time putting runs on the board in games 1 and game 2. Game 2, you had school, but as far as their at bats and them swinging and missing, you couldn't be happier with the Mariners right now. What they're doing, they're putting the bat on the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. The bats have. It's changed so much. They look so much better, more comfortable. Just quality at bats. You're not seeing too many strikeouts. Sure, there's been a few, tough sliders that guys see, that's in and out of the zone and they go fishing. But for the most part, that hasn't been the case. It's just a nice thing to see these bats getting going and heating up as this series has gone along.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to see some rocking of the baby tomorrow. I think this is the day we got to get Josh Naylor part of what's going on here, and I think it's going to happen. And then everybody's done something, but he got a lot of good touches today in that bat, like we talked about. Anyways, we're going to cut this one a little short. Actually, we're just about we're over half an hour or so here. On live, we kind of let it, we play some videos before to do it. But today we're just going to breeze through this on the podcast side. Again, thank you for liking, subscribing, and all that shit. Thanks to MVPs here in Edmonds on Highway 99. Also, though, let's put this here on the scroller. Got some other friends. We want to also thank, again, Tacos and Tequila. We were down there. We'll be back when the Mariners are hopefully we don't have to go there till next week. And it's an ALCS game. And but yeah, make Pioneers Tacos and Tequila your pre and post sports cantina, located 1021 Occidental South in Seattle. And also get your rye bread gear. I'm wearing it right here. You want that street cred for rocking the rye bread? Hit up at simply.core. That's at simply.core. You can also hit her up on Instagram or hit us up on social media. We'll help you. We'll point you in the right direction. And also, we like to keep, if you want to keep your money out in the streets and you like that hot dog before the game, we got one spot. You're before and after Al's Gourmet sausages. I also like to take advantage after the game of that 2-for-1 hot dog special. Yeah, that's a really good one. Anyways, that's all our plugs. We'll be back tomorrow.
After a series clinching victory. Let's hope.
And after some good sleep, hopefully tonight. You know what I mean? It's been a long day with this delay. Anyways, I'm going to shut the hell up. And with that being said, Hannah, you know what time it is.